Align fam. Did you miss me? Because I certainly missed you. So far, this year has been extremely eventful, where every week has felt like a month. And just from my executive coaching sessions, there are reoccurring themes that you're all collectively going through. So I really want to use this episode to address those themes and really give you an upgraded operating system to really thrive in these situations. Now, with about 3 months or a quarter left of the year, September is really the best time to refresh and realign with the goals that you set in January. Remember those? Well, they haven't forgotten about you. So, this episode would help give you that peace, that clarity, and really the excitement you'll need to fuel you to really achieve those goals, achieve those dreams that you initially had beginning of 2026, and be able to wrap up 2026 in a bow. So, shall we get started and have some fun? So, the first thing we're going to do is what I call the dream life exercise. Now, I want you to breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do that again. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time, breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that you're more in a parasympathetic or Zen peaceful mode, I want you to close your eyes and imagine your dream life. It's not the life that your parents or society expected of you. It's really your own dream life. There are no limits to this life. You can have whatever you want in it. Now, I want you to ask and envision, where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? And most importantly, how do you feel? Now, I want you to open your eyes and really process, how are you feeling? You're probably happy, peaceful, expansive, excited, energized, feeling limitless, right? All these are what I call feel good states. And you feel good when you're in alignment with your ultimate desires and the highest versions with you, right? Every time you're in alignment with what you ultimately want at the best version of you, you feel good. Okay. Now, everyone has a very different vision of what this dream life is because it's uniquely yours. Think of it as your North Star. It's your compass guiding you towards what you ultimately want and kind of like what your ultimate purpose here on earth is. And so it's basically like a lighthouse guiding you closer and closer towards it. And that every single time you take action towards your dream life of what you ultimately want, you feel good. And every single time you pivot away from it, you don't feel good, or you what I call misaligned. Okay. Now that we have a good sense of what your dream life is, what your North Star, your compass is, right? I want to do something what I coin the deathbed test. So I want you to think about, on your deathbed, say you've lived a very flourished, amazing life, you accomplished everything you wanted, and you're just ready for the next chapter, whatever you believe in, where you're just ready to go, right? So on your deathbed, you're living a really, really fulfilled life. How far is your current reality from that life? And every day you don't spend time closing the gap between where you are and your ideal dream life, it's going to get louder and louder and more painful and painful. And those misaligned feelings I mentioned, when you kind of feel like grief or low energy and all that, that's because you're not taking steps towards your ultimate life, one that you'd be proud of on your deathbed when you're ready to go. The next exercise I want to do is what I call a SWOT test. And it's basically creating a map to get you there. Okay. So for those of you who studied business or learned what a SWOT analysis was, right? It's exact same idea, except I want you to apply it to yourself. So SWOT stands for, think about like a 4 quadrants, right? So on your top left, you have your strengths. Top right, you have your weaknesses. Bottom left, you have your opportunities, which are things that you really enjoy doing, you lose time doing, you're in flow doing it. And then threats are things that threaten your energy, things that you hate doing, it takes you longer to do it, you're not the best at it. So strengths are what you're really good at, weaknesses are obviously what you're not good at. Opportunities are things that give you joy and flow, opportunities for you to grow, you lose track of time doing it, you're in flow. And threats are things that are like threats to your energy, things that you don't like doing, it takes you longer to do it, right? And you're welcome to pause here and really write out what I call this like SWOT analysis about yourself. Okay. Now, once you can pause this now or do it later, once you do this 4 quadrant, I want you to look at your strengths, what you're really good at doing, and also your opportunities, what you enjoy doing, right? Your job in life, if you want to be successful, is to maximize your strengths, what you enjoy, what you're good at, and what you enjoy doing, which is the opportunities, right? You want to minimize or outsource your weaknesses and your threats, which things like threaten your energy. You don't enjoy it. You don't lose track of time when you do it. It's just not your thing. Okay. Just like we don't tell MJ to play soccer, we don't tell Ronaldo to play basketball, right? These guys are so successful, obviously, because they have talent, they have the grit, they do the work consistently, right? There's no cheap way to get around that. But the most important thing is they found their strength and what they really enjoy doing, and they went all in on it, okay? As humans, we're all puzzle pieces, right? Think of like yourself as a puzzle piece with like a certain shape, like you have edges and you have like grooves, right? Your job in life is to find the matching puzzle piece where your strengths are their weaknesses and their weaknesses are your strengths, whether it's in a team for professional reasons, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in a friendship, even within a family dynamic, right? When everyone's playing on their strengths, that's when you're really operating at the highest level, and not only just for you, but you're serving humanity. So I always tell people, like, do that analysis and like really understand what your strengths are, what are your opportunities or what you enjoy doing. And then make sure you're constantly in roles, in relationships, in dynamics where you're maximizing that. And then you find your complement when it comes to your weaknesses or things that you don't enjoy doing. Okay. The more, and of course, it's not going to ever be perfect. There will be times that you do things that you don't want to do, but it's not every day consistently, right? You're not building a career on your weakness. You're not building a career on things that you hate doing. And if you're doing that, that's probably why you're feeling like crap. Now that we have a good sense of, okay, what do you want, your North Star, right? What will you deeply regret if you don't get to experience the deathbed test, as well as a SWOT of how you're going to get there, like how you're going to leverage your strengths, how you're going to outsource your weaknesses. There are 2 relationships you need to upgrade in order for you to head towards your dream life with that clarity and excitement. And those 2 relationships are not external. They're all within here, because the most important relationship is the one with yourself. And the 2 things we need to upgrade is your relationship with uncertainty and your relationship with your human edge. Let's dive in. Uncertainty is a certainty of life. Uncertainty is a certainty of life. It is a guarantee you will always have uncertainty. This is a fact of life. Even spiritual gurus cannot bypass, and they cannot like predict 100% of reality or the future for you or themselves or anyone. No one has a full crystal ball, because we cannot bypass the spiritual journey and the human experience required for our growth and our evolution. There are things that you have to go through. There's no preparation for it in order for you to become a better, brighter person and more aligned with your highest self. Okay. So the thing is, though, it's not uncertainty itself, the presence of certainty, that makes us like worried and fearful and full of anxiety. It's our relationship to it. It's our definition of certainty, right? So why don't we upgrade our definition of uncertainty so that it empowers us? Simple enough. First thing I want you to understand that is uncertainty doesn't mean you're lost. Okay. Certainty means you have 100% of the information, which is super, super rare, right? Those are like facts. That's super rare. Most of life is uncertain. Uncertain simply means you do not have 100%, but it doesn't mean that you have 0% of information or knowledge. It could be 80%. That's all uncertain, right? So just know that uncertainty does not mean you're at zero and that you're completely lost. That's not true, okay? That's the biggest things I want you to really understand. Uncertainty does not mean you're at ground zero. It just means you're not 100. Okay. It could be anywhere from 1% to 99%. Huge range. You're not starting from scratch. Chances are you've been through a similar experience in the past. There are certain things that you've been through, like pockets of it that you can use and leverage going forward. And if you're going through a truly completely new experience, chances are you know how to learn, to research, hire the right people, ask the right questions to get to the answer. We literally live in the age of information. You absolutely have the access and ability to figure it out. Okay. You definitely have access to the people who can guide you and give you the answers because they've definitely been through it. So if you really listen to yourself and you tap into your intuition, you know what the next step is. You know, okay? Now let's talk about next steps, which is actions create certainty. Certainty comes after you take action. Living in your head with these what if scenarios is never going to give you the answer. You have to physically move to see what actions get you where. And if you're going the wrong way, that's not aligning to what you ultimately want, you could always pivot, right? But you won't know how to pivot if you don't put a stick in the map and start moving. So think about literally a GPS, right? When you turn on the GPS and you start moving, it's going to tell you whether you're moving in the right or wrong direction, but you gotta move. If you're standing still, you're not going to know. Hence why action is the only way to create certainty. You tend to freak out. We tend to freak out in life when we're uncertain because we want the full game plan. We want the full staircase with all the steps, right? You don't need it. All you need is just the next step. Once you have the next step, the next is going to open up the next. You don't need the whole staircase, right? Also, based on the next step you take, you actually change the shape, the dimension, the depth of the next staircase. So there are times when like one action could take you to a shorter route. Another action might take you a longer, but more beautiful route, right? You do not need to see the whole staircase. It's not your job. You won't. You only need to see the next step and where you ultimately want to go. Like your current circumstance really is not final. Like whatever you're going through now, it's accumulation of all the actions and thoughts that you've had. The moment you change your action, the moment you change direction, the moment you take action, your circumstances completely change. So you are not in this. Think about all the circumstances that you've been in the past and you feel like, oh, this is the worst thing in the world. You always got through it. You've literally survived 100% of your worst days, right? So just remember when you're going through uncertainty, the best course of action to take is any type of action, and it's going to tell you whether or not you should pivot or keep going. Get playing, get learning, right? Life is truly a playground. Don't let adulting take out the fun and suck out the life and suck out the play in life. That is not the point of living. We literally live an adult playground. Think about how much you learned. Think about how much you enjoy life when you treat it as a playground, when you treated it like it was a game, because it truly is a game, right? The more you enjoy every little step, the more you treat it as a learning experience, the more that you think of yourself as a movie character and you're just going through a hero's journey, the more that you can really make fun of your journey, the easier, the smoother, the more you're going to not only enjoy it, but get there faster because you're not looking at what you're lacking, you're looking at what you're gaining every single day. And so there are a few themes of uncertainty that are causing a lot of you guys to freeze this year. First is wanting to build your own business, but you built a your whole career in something else. You climb the corporate ladder, you're uber successful, and you think to yourself, I've never built anything on my own. Okay. I beg to differ. You've definitely, even in a corporate setting, have worked on a new project, was tasked something that you had to go figure out on your own, right? And you were able to grow this project within a corporate, a nonprofit, a hobby, something to be bigger than what you envisioned and more impactful than what you initially thought. You've all done that before, okay? All the finance junkies, I want you to think back of when you first learned Excel and how daunting and how scary and how the whole new world seemed to be, right? Like what was frustrating with me is like you don't know what you don't know. Like you don't know what formula is to you and you're brand new. You don't know what's going to be helpful. You have no idea, oh, what's like the most efficient way to do things, right? But all it took was us putting in the work. We put in the weekends. We played games learning it. We swapped Excel sheets with our peers to like learn what they're, look at the formulas that they're working on, right? But the biggest test was when a true deliverable was given to you. You had a crunch time, you have a deadline, and you had it to look a certain way. You figured it out. So the same thing as like Excel as the way that we're using AI now, right? For a lot of people who I would say sometimes like the boomers, right, who get a little bit fearful of, oh my God, I'm too old to learn a new thing, or there's a whole new language to me. It seems so daunting. But once you put like explore, you play around, you treat it like a video game, right? You treat researching AI like a video game. What else can I do with it? You learn how efficient, how amazing and how powerful AI can be, and it actually saves you so much time in a day to do the monotonous routine work that you used to complain about all the time anyway, right? So I push back when people are like, oh, I've never built something on my own. I've always been in corporate. I've always worked in a job. Even though like your dream life, your ultimate vision is to build something of impact in your own mission, right? If that's your ultimate goal and you're going to regret not doing it on your deathbed, the time is now because you've always have built something new, even if it was in a corporate umbrella. This is not your first rodeo. So I push back on that to say you're too old to learn something new, or you're too old to start a business, you're too old to start a nonprofit. Maybe the opposite is you're too young to not try something new. You're too young to waste the next 50 years of your life doing something that doesn't light you up, feel like it's Groundhog Day. That seems more miserable than playing the game of figuring out how to build something that you truly are truly passionate about. The other pushback I get is my career feels perfect on paper, but I feel numb, grief, or I just don't really feel fully alive. So the other half, there's lots of you who are definitely ready to start your own business, put in the hours in corporate, you're ready to be an entrepreneur. The other half of you actually don't realize how good you have it. You don't realize how you have an amazing job that leverages your strengths and what you're good at, right? And you do very little of what you suck at. And that's the dream or what you hate. And the problem is you've probably been in this role for 8, 10, 15 years. So it's starting to get a little monotonous, right? But then we expect our job to be our everything because it used to be your everything. Now that you become a leader and you become a partner, right? It becomes the skill sets change. And sometimes you don't get the same joys of the things that you used to do, right? But that's not on your job, that's on you. Chances are there's external hobbies or relationships that you haven't given enough time and energy towards, right? Say that you love music. Now that you can do your job in your sleep, right? Now that you're more in the managing people business, you can leverage the time to reinvest in those hobbies in the relationship. Maybe you feel a little bit numb because you're missing a lot of the joy that you used to get from other activities, right? So I would actually push back also when people say like, oh, my career seems perfect on paper, but like I don't feel like it's fully fulfilling because your career is not meant to be your everything. You're a full vibrant being. You're supposed to experience life, make amazing relationships, do cool things, right? Invent and reinvent yourself all the time, right? So then I also say like people who feel like their careers have been stagnant and they're not moving forward. I question, is it just your perspective and your mindset that needs to be shifted? And are there new actions that you have to take, sometimes outside of your role, sometimes inside your role? Maybe there's another leadership role that you could take. Maybe there's another venture that you can raise your hand to do. But like your boss is too afraid to ask anyone because they feel like everyone's already swamped, right? That's another area that I would say a lot of you guys are struggling with as well in terms of how do I make my life more fulfilling in my current career? And the third common pushback or theme that I get in terms of what makes people feel stuck or unhappy right now is relationships, right? In romantic relationships, I'm newly divorced, I'm newly single, and back in the dating game, but the whole world of dating has completely changed because of apps, because of the speed and how connected we all are now, right? And saying how relationships are hard. Relationships have never been easy. Okay, I'm pretty sure our grandparents, our great parents also complained about it. There's no change to that, right? So, my question for those of you saying, like, oh, relationships are so difficult, romantic relationships are so difficult, I'm completely new to the game. I want to ask you, well, chances are you've probably had to, at one point in your life, end a really important business relationship and the friendship and the family dynamic, right? These are all relationships. How did you cope through that? That's like you already have experience of coping through any type of breakup. So things that you've experienced prior in different relationships, you can definitely leverage of what's worked in this current dynamic that you are navigating singledom. The other thing about apps and the connectivity and how transactional dating is nowadays, yes, it is definitely more transactional. I mean, I grew up on apps and it's definitely even changed for that. But ultimately, deep down inside, we're all just really craving someone that we feel safe and ourselves and seen with. That has never changed, right? So you already know the skill set. If you've been in a long-term relationship, you already know the skill set of how to build a relationship. It's just doing again, infusing some novelty in it, and with a new partner. So I would just say it's not that you are completely clueless. You just have to update again your mindset, how you're navigating dating, and also your operating system. How are you going about dating? Where are you dating? Who are you interacting with, right? How are you applying your discernment when it comes to dating? Really, really important things. Um, our mind tends to exaggerate how bad things are, but time and time again come out. How many times have once you take the first step, it's really not that bad. Like getting up going to the gym, you never regret going in, right? Getting so nervous being staffed on a new project or initiative, only to realize, oh my God, that was super fun. Or I made amazing relationships, or realize how far I could stretch myself, right? Or those of you, a lot of you guys have been taking on the marathon, half marathons, all these kind of fitness challenges and become so proud of yourself of how you can even accomplish such things that you would never assume you could do before. So I want you to really keep this in mind. Your body literally keeps you alive. Think about it. Your heart pumps without you telling it. You know how to breathe. Your body knows how to take oxygen without you constantly thinking about it, being intentional, but just kind of like program it in. That if your body's constantly working in your favor to keep you alive and keep you safe, and your body's always working and finding ways to go back to homeostasis, you really think when you actually apply your mind, you can't figure something out, you can't get to where you want to be. Like your North Star, that dream life you saw, is literally what you're meant to experience. That is literally the highest version of you. You're meant to have it. It's just waiting for you to take the steps and have the courage to head towards it. And so I just really say this with so much love. Trust yourself more. You're really already halfway there from your experience, and you have the insight, the intuition, the intelligence to figure out the next step. And that's all you really need. And so for everyone, I would say with the proper mindset, self-trust and operating system, you really can get anywhere. I've seen people at the lowest of their lows, I've seen people at the highest of their highs who think they can never do better and they break into another level. It's the way you think, trusting yourself and your operating system. The last piece I want to talk about uncertainty is that all miracles come from uncertainty. I want you to think about the best moments of your life, okay? Work, personal, friendship, whatever it may be. The best moments of your life. Were they planned? Were they expected? Were they planned out in every little detail, right? Chances are no, because they were the best surprises. They were the best moments of your life because you yourself couldn't even fathom how that would come to fruition. You couldn't. That's why it's called a miracle. Miracles, by definition, seems impossible because you couldn't have dreamed of it or planned of it, but it still happens all the time. And so I want everyone to remember miracles, the most amazing memories, the most pleasant surprises always came from uncertainty. So when you're in deep uncertainty, there's a big miracle coming. Now, the second relationship we need to upgrade um, in order for you to have that dream life of yours is your remembering that your humanity is your edge. What do I mean? With the AI focus and race towards it, right? Everyone's kind of clamoring to get a piece of it. We're forgetting what makes humans special. And that is simply our humanity and our human edge. We're not robots. We're not meant to sound the same, look the same, have the same ideas. Yet we're seeing this. We're all converging, right? Firms have the same pitches. Decks look the same. People use the same script. People physically also look different. Look at how old Hollywood, even not old Hollywood, like the 90s, 2000s, women and men, but let's talk about women because they're the ones spending a lot more time rearranging and changing their bodies to look a specific way that they deem like the highest or the most desirable, right? Like there's a convergence to beauty. And back in the day, like there's so much variety of beauty and faces and shapes. The issue is that we're recycling everything. And that is an issue because AI is not really here to make us into carbon copies of each other. It's really here to make us uniquely better, right? It is natural for us to have unique thoughts, unique expressions of our lives. It's natural for us to be all very different. We're not robots. We're not all supposed to also move at the same pace. We're even seeing executives of AI companies burning out and admitting to it, and they're the masters of AI, right? So what makes humans different is our ability to learn, to feel, to assimilate. Speed itself is not the value of humanity, and we're never going to be a robot for that. Our edge is our ability to assess, assimilate, and paired kind of lived and shared experiences with data. Like our human experience is something that they cannot carbon copy. Our human edge is also our discernment and our intuition. So we have the ability to fuse data with intuition and our gut to differentiate between a dead end or a new opportunity. Our heart allows us to decide whether or not it's good to continue hoping a relationship will change and continue investing in it, hoping it will change, or it's time to pursue what's more aligned. It's also our unique lived experience and our inner guidance, our spirit that cannot be replaced by AI. Like all these things is our human advantage. Okay. I'm all about AI in terms of making more efficient, but our creativity, our ideas, our looks, like there's a reason we're here. We're meant to be different. Again, we're all puzzle pieces, right? So one thing to really remember is you have a unique gift. You're not here by an accident, right? It's the chances of making a human is less than 1 in 1 billion. So you're alive for a reason. You're not an accident. No one's an accident. Your job is not to water down and cut yourself up to look and feel like everyone else. Your job is to figure out what that unique gift is. And trust me, you all know it if you spend a little bit of time, 5 minutes to really pinpoint what you're really good at, what you enjoy doing, and go all in on your gift. So there are 3 ways to strengthen your human edge. First is beliefs are the power source of your life. They are the battery of your life. But are your beliefs serving you? Your beliefs are something that you chose at some point in time. right? You choose to believe in it. So if beliefs are a choice, you can change and make different choices, better choices every day, especially if your beliefs are not aligning you to your ultimate dream life. Okay. So chances are, if your beliefs are not getting you to where you want to be, believing in the exact opposite will probably get you there. So I kind of mentioned it earlier before. You may think, oh, I'm too old to start something new. The complete opposite is I'm too young not to try something new, right? I have so much more life to live. I couldn't imagine living another 50 years living like Groundhog's Day, do something that I hate and I don't enjoy doing. That would keep me numb. And what you feel is also based on a belief. Your feelings are based on a belief. If you feel bad, you probably have a belief that is quite negative about someone, yourself, or a situation. If you feel good, you probably have a good belief about yourself, someone, or situation. So if you don't like the way you feel, audit your beliefs and see if those beliefs are actually serving and again aligning to your ultimate goals and what you want. Doubt, people sometimes think doubt is the opposite of belief. Absolutely not. Doubt is not a lack of belief. Doubt is believing something that you don't prefer. Doubt is believing something that you don't prefer and you don't want to happen. We will always move towards what's in our best interest, or we'll always move towards things that we can gain something out of, right? We're humans, we're about survival, we're really smart. We're only going to head towards something that we feel like we're going to get something out of it. So if you're moving towards something or a habit that's not productive, you want to check your beliefs because you're thinking you're gaining something from it. That's why you keep doing this poor habit or this poor action, right? There's a movie that I recently watched, and don't judge me, I know I haven't watched it until recently, Eat, Pray, Love. And there's this beautiful, beautiful quote and scene where she says something along the lines of, Rune is the road to transformation. And she was sitting in like the ruins of a city. And at some point in time, that city was vibrant. It served a huge community. It was efficient. It was probably the best it could be at the time. And I want you to think about that room like your beliefs, right? You're not an idiot. Like you have your beliefs for a reason. They have served you for a reason. You have your thoughts for a reason. They've gotten you to where you want to be now, right? But if you want to be a modern society, you want to progress, you want to keep up with this AI trend, you want to keep up to the pace in which dating and life and technology and science and art is evolving, you're going to have to also upgrade that room, that civilization, or your beliefs, right? You could definitely spend the time to go, patch up the room, when things are falling apart, kind of just clean it up a bit, right? And restore it. But restoring the rune does not give you that new city, that futuristic city, that next level. In order to get the next level, you literally have to rip out the rune. You have to rip out your current belief system and your current operating system, build a new one in order to have that much more vibrant and abundant city that we get to live in now. Now, second thing that we can do to strengthen our human edge is prioritize genuine human connection. So while we've gained incredible speed and access and efficiency with technology and AI, right? So many of us who have lived through simpler times are very nostalgic towards it. Like there's been a lot of, even on social media, like a throwback to the 90s or 2000s, like when there was before we were constantly digitally connected, right? When you had to like log into a computer, when there was computer rooms, you didn't have a computer in your hand 24/7. So why is that? Why do we long for a more simpler time? Well, simpler times, we had a lot of moments that calmed our nervous system. We had a lot of moments that gave us joy, that long-term joy, and that was true connection. So a tough day at work was softened by a conversation with a neighbor on your way home, right? A homemade meal brought people together. Conversations around like a dinner table, a lunch table, a brunch created belonging and laughter and emotional release. And so We had so much opportunity to reset our nervous system. We had so much opportunity to release our stress from the day, from those connections when we came back from work. Human connection is also highly influential for our biology. So we are, as a social creatures, we are wired for connection. And so when there are moments of belonging or purpose that we get to connect with others, it actually influences the chemistry in our body. It influences serotonin, the dopamine. So we also heal through human interaction. We don't heal alone. When you say, for example, say you were in a relationship where, past relationship, when you shared your emotions with your partner and it would either get ignored, shut down, or laughed at, right? So you learned, oh, there's no point in sharing my emotion. No one cares. You bottled things up. You never felt hurt. In your next relationship, you're about to share, you don't even share it yet, and your partner says to you, hey, I care, I want to hear, like, how are you feeling? That new dynamic is what heals you. That new dynamic, that different reaction from someone actually triggers you to heal and realize, wow, there are people that care. Wow, my emotions do matter. Wow, my voice does matter. So we never heal by being alone. We don't heal through reliving memories over and over again. That's how we actually drive ourselves crazy. We heal through sharing, having a different outcome with other people. We heal through sharing what we've been through and realizing, oh my God, we're not alone. That's why I'm even doing this episode, because every single time, and I want to be clear, I'm extremely, very, very grateful. And I feel very honored that people feel safe in telling me some of their deepest, darkest secrets, what they're going through and what they're struggling with. Like, I feel so honored. I get to get an inside scoop, an inner world of what everyone's going through. But every single time someone opens up to me, I acknowledge, of course, I'm empathetic and I listen and I'm present, but I also tell them, just this week, X amount of people have felt the same way. And every single time they're shocked, like, wow, people are like, I'm the only one. I feel like there's like this sense that there's a need, whether it's our ego, whether it's social media, feeling that we can only put out our highlight reels and everyone's doing fantastic and no one ever deals through problems. That's not real life. We're all struggling, we're all growing, we're all going through joy all at once, all at the same time, in the same day. And the last but not least, way to really embrace your human edge is be present to receive your presence. Be present to receive your presence. Your wishes, what you want, are literally one person away. If you're constantly taking action, moving towards your goals and what you desire, okay? The rooms that you enter, the meetings that you join, the even like the things that you read, right? You are literally one connection away from getting that thing. Your lover, your future lover, your business partner, your new client, your new friend, anyone that you're looking, anything that you're looking for is in those rooms that you're showing up in. They're on the streets that you're walking to for your commute. They're on the ride. They're on the transit that you're using, right? They're on like the plane that you're riding. It's even the most simplest things. I always tell my clients, I always tell them, when you're going about your day and you're, walking from, I don't know, gym and home or groceries and home, are you on your phone like this? Or are you looking up and making eye contact? Look up, have a conversation. Whoever you're supposed to meet is literally in your vicinity, but your spirit guides, the universe, God can't help you if you're not interacting with the gifts and the miracles are being placed in your life. So truly get out of your phone and be present, like be here. Being present doesn't just mean physically being here. If your mind is elsewhere, you're not present, right? Being present with someone is you're physically there, your mind is empty, but your heart is open. That's how you're going to be able to call in the miracles, receive the goodness, receive the things that you want to desire. And it won't feel that hard because you don't have to constantly do and run. It's literally in front of you if you're willing to clear out your mind and open your heart. Lastly, to wrap everything up, I want you to think back on the goals and desires you set for yourself this year in January. I want you to first take a moment and reflect and list. You can pause this and list it out as well. All the things you accomplished, all the things that positively surprised you, that came to fruition without you pushing, and all the love and support you got. And really feel, look at that list and really feel and be thankful for it all. Okay. Let yourself really understand how capable and supported you are in life. You need to see. Sometimes we forget. We forget all the blessings, we forget all the good things, we forget all the accomplishments because they're just running point A to point B. And once you get to point B, you go to point C, right? When you see the list of amazing things that happen, you really think, wow, I've done so much, I've accomplished so much, I was supported so deeply. I really want you to look at that list and really soak in and be so grateful for everything that you've experienced. Then I want you to look at what you still want to experience and be honest with yourself. What's creating the gap between where you are and where you want to be? And where you want to be is what your newly discovered dream life, the exercise that we did, the dream life exercise, right? So what is causing this gap? What belief or mindset is keeping you stuck? What are the things that you chose to believe one day that in the past that you probably choose better, if not the opposite? And is there a shift in strategy or is it a pivot that you need to make in order to get there? And lastly is, are there people and elevated perspectives that can help you that you need to invest in order for you to get there, right? Kind of what I walked you through today. As humans, we're kind of like machines in the sense that we have to constantly upgrade our operating system, right? You always get updates to your computer, you get updates to your phone, you yourself need to update. It's like you can't function like a 1700 civilization when in modern day society, that way of operating would set you into ruins, right? So recall again that you are a puzzle piece. Like you're meant to find people who are a good match to you in life, personally, professionally. You're not meant to, and you can't do it all alone. No man's an island, right? So you got to seek out the people and the connections that fuel you. They'll get you there. That will help invest in you. Would be a good thought partner for you. And not only just get you out of your head so you can really think more clearly and be inspired new ideas, but also I would say accountability partner that is honest with you if you're falling behind or you're being too hard on yourself, right? Someone who can really be honest and keep it real with you to keep you on track, but on a pace that feels sustainable yet exciting, and you're going to get towards your goals in a much more smoother path. If this episode gave you greater clarity and you want personalized support and ongoing thought partner, you're welcome to explore one-on-one executive coaching. I'll drop the link below. And if you believe that these ideas would be helpful for your firm, I actually work very closely with teams, whether it's through interactive experiences that I create with them and their clients, or through literally team or one-on-one coaching for the firm. I'm really focused on strengthening, again, that human operating system. So things that help you progress with performance, whether it's decision quality, high impact execution, or making sure the team's aligned with each other. Again, making sure every puzzle piece is in the right place.